Okay, welcome back to our grade 10 maths lesson. I am Miss Awinup, your teacher. In our last lesson, we looked at quadratic expressions and products of linear expressions. In today's lesson, we are going to factorize quadratic expressions. Our topic is already on the board for us. Now, you will notice a lot of words up on the board. Now, don't get worried about that. This is going to help us with our lesson today. We are going to factorize, and these are the steps to factorizing quadratic expressions. Now, there are two conditions here where a is equal to 1, and the second condition is where a is greater than 1. We're going to go through a couple of examples to show how we use the steps. Okay, so our first example, let's have a look at an expression where a is equal to 1. Okay, so we have the expression x squared plus 7x plus 12. Okay, now the coefficient of x squared is a, and when a is 1, we don't write 1 there. That's why we have just x squared plus 7x plus c. Okay, so we're going to follow the steps here and factorize this expression. Now, when we are factorizing, we are trying to find the two linear expressions that were multiplied together to give us this expression. This is very important because you have to know how to factorize before you solve a quadratic equation. Okay, now let's start. The third term in this expression here is 12. So we are going to find the factors of 12. Okay. Now all factors of 12, because it is positive, you will have positive factors and negative factors. Okay. So we list down all our factors. Let's see, we have negative 6 and negative 2, negative 4 and negative 3. We also have negative 12 and negative 1, okay? And the positive factors are positive 6 and positive 2, positive 4 and positive 3, and positive 12 and positive 1, okay? Now, as you can see, the next part of the first step, we have to find that pair of factors that will add up to give the middle term. What's the middle term in our expression? 7x, okay? But we need to find the factors that will give us a sum of 7, okay? So we are going to add all of these factors to find the correct pair. Now, negative 6 plus negative 2 will give us negative 8. Negative 4 plus negative 3 will be a sum of negative 7. Negative 12 plus negative 1 is negative 13. Okay. 6 plus 2 is 8. 4 plus 3 is 7. And 12 plus 1 is 13. Okay. Now, you've probably already identified the factors we are going to use. Okay. The factors that give us a product of 12 and a sum of 7 is positive 4 and positive 3. Okay, so 4 times 3 is 12, and 4 plus 3 is 7. Okay, so what we do next, we place the factors into brackets because you need two brackets with linear expressions multiplied to give us a product of x squared plus 7x plus 12. Okay, so let's form our two brackets here. Okay, and we know that The factors of x squared will be x and x. So we place one x in one bracket and the other x in the second bracket. Then we place our two factors into the same two brackets. So x plus 4 and x plus 3. Okay, so we have factorized x squared plus 7x plus 12. And the factors of that expression are x plus 4 times x plus 3. Okay, very easy if you follow the steps correctly. Okay, now all these terms here are positive. Let's see if the terms are negative. Okay, now let's look at x squared minus 2x minus 15. Okay, x squared minus 2x minus 15. Again, coefficient of x squared is equal to 1. So we start off by finding the factors of the third term. Now remember this, the third term here is included with the operation here. So it's not just 15, it's negative 15. Okay, so all the factors of negative 15, okay, will be negative 15 and positive 1, okay, and negative 5 and positive 3. You will also have negative 1 and positive 15, and also negative 3 and positive 5. All right, the next part of that says we have to identify the factors that will give a sum of the middle term. Okay, the middle term in this case is negative 2. All right, negative 2. So let's add all of our factors. Negative 15 plus 1 will give us a sum of negative 14. Negative 5 plus 3 will give us a sum of negative 2. Negative 1 plus 15 will give us positive 14. And negative 3 plus 5 will give us a sum of 2. Okay? So from our factors, we can see that if I add negative 5 and positive 3, I will get a sum of negative 2, which is the middle term. Okay? So the third term step says place in brackets. Okay? Form our brackets. Now we see factors of x squared, x and x. And we place our factors as well into the brackets. So we have negative 5 and positive 3. So x plus 3, positive expression first, and the negative expression after. Okay? Now, the next example we are going to look at is an example where a is greater than 1. Okay? Now, this method here is very similar to what we've seen here, but there's a slight difference, and we will go through that in our example. Okay? So let's have a look at the equation. Let's see, example number 3. All right, 3x squared, 3x squared minus 11x plus 6. Okay, 3x squared minus 11x plus 6. Okay, remember all quadratic expressions come in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so the coefficient of x squared is a. Okay, the coefficient of x here is b, and the constant at the end is c. So ac would be multiplying this number here by the third term. Okay, so ac is equal to 3 times 6 which is equal to 18. Okay, 3 times 6 is 18. Now, the next step says, this is where it is similar now. We find the factors of AC, okay? And those factors also have to give us a sum of the middle term, which is negative 11, okay? So, factors of 18, let's see, we have 9 and 2. We have 6 and 3, and we have 18 and 1, okay? We also have the negative factors, which are negative 9, negative 2, negative 6 and negative 3, and negative 18 and negative 1, okay? Let's go through. What is the sum? 9 plus 2 is positive 11. 6 plus 3 is positive 9. 18 plus 1 is positive 19. Okay. Negative 9 plus negative 2 is negative 11. Negative 6 plus negative 3, negative 9. And the sum here in the last two factors is negative 19. Okay, so from our factors, identify the one which gives us a sum of the middle term, which is negative 11. Clearly you can see negative 9 and negative 2. Now, we are not going to go immediately and put them in the brackets. Our third step says replace the middle term, okay, which is bx, with the two factors, okay? What we mean is we are going to split the middle term, all right? So, 3x squared minus 11x plus 6. We are going to split this middle term by using the two factors that have been identified, okay? So let's rewrite this. Instead of 11x, we have 3x squared minus 9x minus 2x plus 6. Okay? So if you add these two, you will still get negative 11x. Okay? So we've just split that term into two separate terms. Once you have done that, the third or the fourth step here is to group the terms, all right? So we are going to make two groups by putting them into brackets. 3x squared minus 9x minus 2x plus 6, okay? Now, rather than go straight into factorizing like we did here, now we have formed two sets of numbers or terms here, and we factorize it as if it was a linear expression. So we find a common number between 3x squared and 9x, and we put it outside the brackets. Okay? In this case, the number 3x is common to 3x squared and 9x, and what we are left with, we place in the brackets. So we have x minus 3, okay? And we do the same for the second group here. Minus, common term between 2x and 6 is 2, so it goes outside the brackets. And in brackets, we have x minus 3, okay? So, once we have grouped and factorized in this manner, we look at our expression again. X minus 3 and x minus 3 are common terms with or in this expression. So it becomes the first factor, okay? So x minus 3 is now the first factor, and the second factor are the remaining numbers here, 3x and negative 2. So that goes into the second brackets. 3x minus 2. Okay? So the factors of the expression 3x squared minus 11x plus 6 is x minus 3 and 3x minus 2. Okay? I hope you found this interesting because that has brought us to the end of the lesson. In our next lesson, we are going to see how factorization is used in solving a quadratic equation. I hope you can join me then because it gets more interesting. See you then.